I don't know if you can hear me yet. Hello, friends. Gather around for learning together time. It is the time in our service where we gather together children, God's children of all ages, to listen for what God has to say for us today. Now, I don't know if you can see me right now. Let's see. Someone say in the chat box if you can see me, because I'm still seeing Kara. Okay, great. You can see me. Wonderful. Now, before we begin, I want to start with a few announcements, but maybe you're wondering why I'm in my living room and not in the sanctuary with Reverend Ryan. I was at home sick with a cold all week. You might even still be able to hear it in my voice. I know I can. And I got my COVID test. It is negative, but in order to keep everyone safe, I'm just doing learning together from home this week. So it's a little bit like family devotionals. Speaking of family devotionals, Kelly, would you mind putting up our announcement slides for Children's Church? Here we go. Just like so many things have to be online right now, our Comox Valley Youth program has to go onto Zoom. So if you are part of Comox Valley Youth, which is Thursdays at 4:30, normally at St. Peter's in Comox, stay tuned. We'll give you some Zoom links soon on how to plug into that online instead of in person. And every week we are still putting out our family devotionals. We've done lots of them now, so you should be really good at doing them even without me. But don't worry, I'll keep doing them, and we'll keep learning and growing together as disciples of Christ in our homes so that we can take that out into the world. Thanks so much, Kelly. I appreciate that. Now, I have my treasure chest with me here today, so let's take a look inside. Of course, I've got my good friend Harriet with me, as usual, and I have my white cloth and my white stole, and the banners in the church are white. And so, does anyone know why we have white today? It means it's a special day. Oh, Harriet has an idea. Yes, that's right. She's right. But what does that mean, Harriet? Yes, correct. You are right. Did you catch that? No? Okay, I'll tell you what Harriet said. She said, today is the day we celebrate Jesus. Oh, yeah, right. Good clarification. We celebrate Jesus, but not like at Christmas when we celebrate his birth. Oh, yeah, right. And it's not like it's Easter when we celebrate his resurrection. Today is called, are you ready? Ba-ba-da-ba, Reign of Christ Sunday. Sounds important, right? It is. It's when we celebrate Jesus as the one who is the leader above all leaders. So we might have our parents or grandparents in our houses and our teachers in our schools. Grown-ups have bosses at work. We have people who lead us in the Comox Valley and in the province of British Columbia. We have people who lead our country in Canada. But then we have the one who leads or reigns over all of it, Jesus. So on Reign of Christ Sunday, we remember that no matter what, no matter who is leading in our government or anywhere else, God has got us. Yes. And you know what else? Reign of Christ Sunday marks the end of one year in the church and the start of another. It means we're changing seasons in the church. And there is a special season in the church that starts next week. If you know what it is, type it into the chat. Grown-ups too. It doesn't have to just be kids. And, oh, yeah, you're right. We'll wait to see if anyone else knows. Oh, I see a few coming up there. Now, it is Advent. And you know what else that means? A new color. Do you know what color it will be? Type that in the box too. Now, if you notice, purple. Oh, purple. That person must be coming from Catholic. Oh, eggnog season. I see lots of purples. Usually we do blue in Advent. Blue is usually the color of the banners and the stoles around us. But if you come from a Catholic background, then definitely purple is your color. So you can really go with either one. But if you look closely, so I have my white stole, and I don't know if you can see this on the computer, but I have my green turtleneck on. And so today finishes the series we've been working on. We're finishing up our weeks on how to really practice in our day-to-day life being a disciple or a student of Jesus. And I want to go a little bit back to the beginning of our learning, so we can have a few things in here to remind us of each of those practices. Now, we've got here the prayer jar to remind us about slowing down and praying each day. And look at this. Can you see this? Probably not. I'll put it on here so it's a little easier to see. It's the tiniest Bible. A friend of mine gave that to me to remind me to read the Bible every day. And we've got a tiny little church here. Remember that one? That's to remind us that whether we're in the building or not, it's still important to come to church each week, even virtual church. Here I am at home, plugged in virtually. And we also lit candles, remembering people of the faith who had died before us. And of course, my sandal, because we talked about how we all need to be of service, to do loving actions for others. Now, oh, I've forgotten it from my trunk right now, but you know what? Harriet was busy doing something this week for her new friend, Jesus, that she met down in Victoria. Do you remember Jesus from last week? Yeah, Harriet remembers Jesus. And Harriet wrote a letter just for Jesus that she's going to throw in the mail on Monday because she wants to build that spiritual friendship. Now, wow, you can see that we have learned a lot about how to be disciples of Jesus in our everyday lives. There are so many ways we can grow in our faith and grow closer to God. And there's one more way, and it's actually something the grown-ups have been talking about for a little while. Now, it's in the treasure chest. Let's see what's in there. Does anyone recognize this? Harriet's going to help me out here a little bit as I shuffle around some of these things to put it down. If you were in children's church before, then you probably recognize this as our offering plate. Before COVID, I should say, when we actually did children's church in the building, we used this offering plate. We used to pass this plate around, and everyone would take one of these stones as we passed the plate around, and we would hold it tight and think of something to offer to God. Most times we offered something we were grateful for or a prayer for someone in need. And then we would pass the plate again and place our offering to God in the plate, and we would pray over it. Now, today we're talking about giving as something that students of Jesus do. And there are lots of ways to give. Now, you can give, let's see, maybe if you think of an idea that you can give to the church, why don't you type it in the chat box? And maybe sometimes the one we think of the most is money. That's one way. The church pays Reverend Ryan and I because the leaders of the church think the work we do is so important. And we shouldn't have to be distracted with another job to make sure we can pay the bills. So grown-ups and children can give money to the church to help pay for us and the lights and the cameras to make sure church can happen. And how else can we give? Yes, I see helping with children's church. I can't wait to get back to children's church and be outside. How fun. There are people who read and who offer lighting, or help in service, time, just being friendly. Oh, these are great. And did you know that somebody runs the cameras and the PowerPoint and all these things to make church happen? The church likes to say that we give our time, talent, and treasure back to God, who gives so freely to us. But what does that mean? Our time, we help out, we do our part. Our talent, we give in ways that we're good at. Our treasure, money we've earned. And it's all to hold our community together so that we can love and support one another and make sure that others who aren't part of our community yet know that they are loved and supported too. Man, so great to be a disciple. And now we know all of these ways to be great students of Jesus. So let's sing our disciple song for the last time until we move into the season of Advent, and we'll keep on practicing being a disciple all year round.
Please join me in singing Who is a Disciple? Who is a disciple? Look and you will see people all around us, they look like you and me. When we learn to love and share, care for everyone, we become disciples too, and Jesus' work is done. Jesus, Jesus, teach me how to be a disciple of your love for all the world to see. Jesus, Jesus, teach me how to be